Hi, guys. Welcome to Farmer Fridays, where I get to interview agriculturists, ag organizations, and ag businesses across the state of West Virginia. My name is Elizabeth Flint, your Miss Jefferson County 2022. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of interviewing Mark Hostuttler, who is a USDA aquaculture research biologist. How are you today, Mr. Hostuttler?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on this interview. So go ahead and tell me about yourself and your agricultural background.
I grew up in the central part of West Virginia, and my background was I went to West Virginia University, got a degree in agriculture education. I taught for 12 years in the central part of West Virginia, Philip Barber High School. I left there in 2002 and came to work for the USDA, and ever since then, I've been a biologist here for the Agricultural Research Service. So it's kind of my background. I have four children. I've adopted two more, so now I have six, and I have four grandchildren, and so we're all just tickled to death of what we have and what we have to offer here. Glad to work in West Virginia. I'm glad I was able to stay in West Virginia. So
Amazing. So tell me about the National Center for Cool and Cold Water Aquaculture, and then, of course, your role at this facility.
okay, this facility was dedicated in August of 2001. And of course, I came to work here in July of 2002. So very shortly after this building was dedicated. The challenges we have here in aquaculture, we try to meet those as far as dealing with genomics, dealing with the physiology. Any of the research aspects may have issues or problems come up, fillet yields of fish, animal health, disease problems that aquaculturists may have. All those things are worked with and dealt with through our facility. We have a number of stakeholders throughout the United States that work with us here at the National Center for Cool and Cold Water Aquaculture. Basically, our research is limited to rainbow trout. However, we have worked with folks on other species of fish and did some crossovers and those type of things. So most of what we do isn't just limited to West Virginia. It's pretty, it's nationally open, and we deal with folks from most of the states in the United States. So
Amazing. And then your role specifically, so you're an aquaculture research biologist, correct?
yeah,
So what do you deal with specifically?
well, believe it or not, I came here and volunteered. A little background. I volunteered here in March of 2002. And I was honestly just volunteering so I could take it back to my local high school. I loved it here. I was offered a position, came to work here in July of that year, and I just worked myself up to being a research biologist. And it's been a blessing for myself and my family. The opportunities here to learn. The ARS is a tremendous agency to work for. They give you a lot of opportunities to advance yourself and give you those skill sets, help you in training yourself and move yourself on. I think this would be a wonderful opportunity for a young person that is interested not only in aquaculture, but protecting our environment, in improving the waterways, being able to use those. So that's been kind of my role here. I now am the supervisor of the broodstock facility we have. So that's kind of where I have transitioned myself into that. And I've been doing that now for about the last 4 years.
Amazing.
So yeah, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, good. So I've been doing a little bit of reading too. By growing our aquaculture production and then conducting research within this field, there are more opportunities for recreational activities and, of course, healthy seafood options for the people of West Virginia. So what work specifically is being done to support the growth of the West Virginia aquaculture production in this facility?
We have quite a few stakeholders that we work with throughout West Virginia. Those are individuals that do processing of fish products or aquatic products. Those are individuals that have feed fishing type facilities. So if you're doing a feed fishing type facility, being able to have a wholesome product, being able to have a product that is, healthy for the individuals to eat, being able to maintain that watershed or maintain the protection of it, that's huge in that. So we work with those folks on that. And a lot of times that's hands-on. Other times it's simply us passing on information, being able to serve as kind of the knowledge base for those groups. A lot of farmers don't want you to give the paper. They want to know the bits about the paper. Okay, what best helps me with me dealing with the disease problem I may have? I have a gill disease that's come up. How can I best take care of that, or be able to change those things to make my products grow faster? Because that is something we all want. We go fishing, we want to catch that big fish. I mean, that's the thing, or lie about it, whichever it might be. But we need to work with those folks so that when someone comes to their facility, catch the fish, it looks like a rainbow trout, for example.
Right.
And and that there's something they're very proud of the product, and that product came from West Virginia. And that's something that I think people that live and work in West Virginia, I think that's something they're very proud of. I think agricultural people are very tight knit. They are people that really just share their knowledge, but at the same time, there's someone that wants to make sure that the product that they give or the product they provide is of the quality it needs to be.
Perfect. Right. Now, what is something that the people of our state can do to ensure environmental sustainability at home?
I thought a lot about that, and I guess something that we need to think about, and I always go back to something that my grandparents used to say. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. I think if we teach people to recycle, and an example would be if I teach my children to recycle, and then you teach your children to recycle. If everyone in the state of West Virginia taught their children to recycle, can you imagine what that would be, what the impact that would have? And then think of it nationally, think of it worldwide. I mean, to me, that's how you think this. So the needle in the haystack, it's okay to be the needle. My grandmother always said that. It's okay to be that needle in the haystack. They don't always have to find you, but you're there. You're part of it. So if you can do your part, and I think for the most part, most farmers or the people that we deal with, there's no one I deal with that doesn't or isn't concerned about the environment. I think our whole educational programs that not only state or federal agencies have provided, and the knowledge they provided has allowed those farmers or has allowed those folks in agriculture to use less. If we can use less and we can produce the product in which we want, and it's a product in which we can sell, I think that's huge. I don't care if you're selling strawberries or if you're selling pigs or you're selling fish. It really doesn't matter. The product in which you're selling needs to be a wholesome product and a healthy for the folks you're selling to. And so many of our people are now finding those niche markets, especially out here in the Panhandle. They're not just selling to West Virginia. I mean, let's face it, we got Maryland, Virginia, other states that come in, Pennsylvania, and they're coming to our farmers markets to buy these products. We got folks that are selling rabbits, we got folks that are selling poultry, eggs, whatever it might be. And there's those people traveling in here. I see all the time, we're talking, 60, 70 miles, and I'll see license plates from DC.
Yeah.
And they're at our farmers markets. So that tells you they're coming in, they want that product they had, they want what we got. So we need to be very conscientious that we are stewards of the environment, that we want to take care of the environment. And when they drive into our facility, our farmers market or whatever, they see that we're trying to protect what we have, and that what we have means something to us. And they take that back. I mean, so if they take it back to their facility and they see us recycling and they recycle, then you pay that. You may never know that in your life. Sometimes we never know who we impact in life. I've always said, if no one ever becomes who you are because of you, who were you? Someone should always want to be you. You should work to have someone to become Elizabeth, to become Mark, to become John, whoever it may be, it doesn't matter. And that person becomes a biologist, or that person becomes a grad student simply because you encourage them to go do this. They're in aquaculture because you encourage them to do those things. I think that's what we all have as a responsibility. And to me, I think that's all part of protecting our environment, is us passing on that knowledge and that we can do this with less. I think for lack of terms, I think that works very well.
That's phenomenal advice. And I really hope my viewers at home that are watching this kind of take that to heart. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
what do you think is the most challenging thing about working in agriculture or environmental sciences?
Uh, I think the challenges we all have is finding that market that we can move our product.
Okay.
We know our product's good, but sometimes we have the issues of being able to market it, be able to put it forth to others. We're afraid that somebody won't like it. We really are. We are a group that we will raise something that is amazing, the best tasting strawberries there are, but we just forget to take and promote it and tell people they're the best strawberries that are. Then you go to a local store or whatever and you buy strawberries and you're disappointed. Oh, mine tastes so much better. Well, you know what? If you want rid of yours, get out there along that road and promote yours. All you got to do is give a few away. You won't have a problem selling the rest. So challenges in agriculture are that every day you get up and you're going to be disappointed. Every day you get up, it is going to be a new day and you're going to be like, I got to do this. I love doing this. And that's the big thing is you just need to love what it is. It doesn't matter if it's my job or if it's your job. You have to love what you're doing. You just got to love it in life and keep a smile on your face and move on. I think it's hard sometimes for us in agriculture because we in the past have been a situation where we have a hard time in West Virginia getting rid of a lot of our products. I think that's the hard challenges. And it depends on where you are in West Virginia. If you're here where we are in the Panhandle, not so tough. Sometimes when you go to the central part of West Virginia, it's a little tough. Our market's quite a bit different. So you got to understand your market. There's a big challenge. Understanding that I can charge $3 a dozen for eggs here. You may not be able to charge that in the central part of West Virginia. Understand in the central part of West Virginia, you may not sell apple butter. Over here, you make apple butter, it's going as fast as you can produce it.
Right.
And you know that. So even though we raise all these apples and we have them all, when someone makes apple butter, you got to run and get that jar. You know, maple syrup in the central part of West Virginia, that's a big thing. So if someone makes maple syrup, you're going to run there to pick it up. Just know your people, know what you have. The challenge every day is to get up, I guess, and go out there and make sure everyone knows what you have and be glad that you are part of agriculture because we are small. I mean, we all know that. Anyone that's in agriculture knows there's not millions of us
Right.
around. They're just not. And so 2% of whatever people feed everyone else. And you just got to understand that concept and accept that role and be glad you're part of it. Be glad you're in it. So.
Perfect. Now, on the flip side of everything, what do you think is the best part of working in agriculture or environmental sciences?
For me personally, I think the best part is knowing that I'm working on something that will change the food industry. I know that when we develop a disease resistant or we develop a better quality fillet, those things will go on a consumer's table and it will better them. Number one, that they don't have to purchase as much. The fillet is a little larger. So therefore they don't have to purchase 3 of them. 1 of them will take care of it. I think when you deal with a lot of the other agricultural parts, we'll use beef as an example. I think having that quality product that suits someone's needs, there are those people who want them grain fed. That's how they have to be. There's others that want them on grass and they're grass fed. You just got to know which one of those that suits you or suits what you're doing and just make that product the best you can. And hopefully it is acceptable. It's hard to do that at times though. It really is. It's hard to get those products to where you need them to be for everyone. And just knowing that, and you know, I think it's a lot. Whether you talk the federal agency or state agency, it's amazing how many agencies are out there that can help with information. Our universities, all of our extension service, you know, and a lot of extension people will get knowledge and stuff from us, or they'll share things with us. You have to be willing to share. I mean, we know this, Elizabeth, that the greatest knowledge you ever have is you got to open your mind and let other people talk. Sometimes my problem is I don't know to shut up, but let people be able to let you know that there is a different way and be able to accept that sometimes I think is a challenge that we have, you know, in agriculture, and especially dealing with those folks sometimes that aren't as willing to accept it. The age diversity that we have, understanding we have so many young people that are in those niche type markets, and you still got the very traditional farmer that wants to stay extremely traditional. There's times that it's hard for that very traditional person to make it in our industry. They have a great product, they just don't have that marketing strategies and things to get rid of them. So they get less money simply because, for lack of terms, they don't have that knowledge, or they're afraid to ask for that or for the help. Because some things, I think the older we become, myself included, you get to the point you don't want to ask for help. You're embarrassed by that. And I think that's the worst thing we can be, is we got to be willing to accept that there are times that maybe the 23-year-old knows more about the subject than we do. You know, and that's the great thing about working for the ARS. There's a ton of young people come into this agency, and they bring a wealth of knowledge with them. And they bring a knowledge of experience from all over the country. And so you got to be willing to open your mind and say, you know what, okay, I can change. Even though I don't want to change because I've done this for 20 years, it probably is better to do it your way. So.
And times change all the time. No, you're good. So times are always changing.
Yes.
And the great thing about especially extension services is they have opportunities for us to learn more. And
Yes.
I saw recently they're doing marketing strategy meetings for people
Yes.
to attend and, you know, try to figure out the best way to sell their product.
Yes.
So there's always those opportunities out there all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, why should people get involved in agriculture at all?
I think we've got to get people involved. The younger, the better. Because I think they bring that energy, because we need the energy. And let's face it, we have changed. We don't just take and haul animals to a farmer's market anymore. We have direct marketing schemes and things set up that will make it easy for them to be able to market it. We need people involved in agriculture, because if not, we're going to be in trouble nationally. Our food chain, we got to be able to take and supply those small communities. You know, I guess a good way to look at it is that it's not hard if you live in a city for you to go get food.
Right.
Sometimes when you live in rural communities, extremely rural communities, you go into those, there could be one outlet only for you to take and be able to get any of the products or what you need. So the amount you're going to get, the diversity is not there. So I think if you get those folks in agriculture locally, people can buy locally. And I have found in this area in the last 20 years, it is crazy how much in 20 years in the Panhandle that the farmers markets and the niche markets have changed, and what an impact they have now. COVID, let's face, changed how we all think about everything. I went from love going out to the grocery store, love doing that shopping like that, to going online. And of course, having a 30-year-old daughter, no big deal for her. 50-some-year-old father, yeah, a little different situation. And me being like, I don't like this. And to be honest with you, the first couple of months, I did not like it. Well, now it's almost become a routine to get online and find that product. I honestly do that before. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get in a truck and get downtown to do this. If I can get this, they'll deliver it to my house, you know. Now the downside is maybe I've gained 20 pounds because of that, because at least if I got out, I was walking. So I don't know, maybe we got to look at it that way as well. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a time I think we all need to be in there.
Right.
And yourself, I mean, as a young person, you got your whole life ahead of you. You got to make these decisions of what part of agriculture you want to make an impact. You know, that's where we went back. If no one ever becomes you because of you, now's the time for you to think about that. How will you make an impact on those? And I know all of the different pageants and stuff you've been in, you've made a difference on some little girl. You have. You may not even know it. You may not even know that person, but you've made a difference just simply because they looked up and said, hey, I can be like Elizabeth. And I just think that's what we do. I think in agriculture, we've got to let people know it's okay for you to try. And it's okay for you to come and ask me. I may not know all the answers, but we'll try to find something for you to help you out. I do believe it's important that we do that. So.
Now, with that statement, you're asking people who may never have been around agriculture before to start in the industry. What advice would you give to those people, the first generation farmers, the first generation agriculturists? What advice would you give to them?
use your extension service. Use your federal and state agencies that you have. Get all the knowledge you can about the product. I would say if I was you, I would stay very narrow for the product. Don't go out and think you can raise 20 acres of strawberries and 30 acres of potatoes and whatever. No, you need to start small, and then you need to take and advance that out and do something you love. Don't pick something just because you think it's going to make a lot of money or the neighbor says it is. Pick something that you think you're going to absolutely have a blast raising. If that's sheep, then it's sheep. If it's fish, it's fish. Myself, I absolutely love pigs. And that's what I do, okay? The craziness is I don't do research on pigs or anything else, but I absolutely love having pigs around the house and feeding them or whatever. They're hard heads. Maybe that's why I like it. I'm not for sure. But you've got to find that thing that's yours. And you're an equestrian person. Find that. Maybe giving those horseback riding lessons, maybe that's it. Maybe that's your community. It doesn't have it. And if you got horses and kids can come and learn and do that, I think that's where you'll build the interest, is getting those younger ones in. And for those young farmers, please, whatever you do, use your extension service. That's what they're there for. They want to help you. They have no problem coming to your house. The Soil Conservation Service, NRS service, none of those have a problem coming and helping you. That's what they want to do. They want you to succeed because it helps them. I mean, okay, here was the success story, so.
And if you get up every morning and you love your job, then you'll never work a day in your life. And that's always been a goal for a lot of people too.
Absolutely.
If there's one thing that you could tell your West Virginians about agriculture, what would it be?
Be proud of your state. Be proud that you're from here. I always am. I would never hide that, no matter where I'm at in the country. I'm proud that I work every day in West Virginia. I'm very fortunate that I grew up and was able to go to work, and I've been able to stay in West Virginia. Not everyone can do that. It doesn't mean when you leave West Virginia and you're now living in Texas, it doesn't mean you're not proud of West Virginia.
Absolutely.
But I think you got to be proud of what you are. You got to, if you're in agriculture, you got to be proud that you promote that agriculture in West Virginia. If you're an attorney in West Virginia, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do in life. Just be proud of what you are, who you are. Do everything you can for you, your family, God. That's all we are. Life is so short. Don't walk around with that frown. It's just not worth it. It really is not.
Now, taking from my favorite speech for our final question today, by E.M. Tiffany, why do you believe in the future of agriculture?
Well, I think that's first, that paragraph of the creed. I believe in the future of agriculture, with a faith born not of words, but of deeds, achievements won by the present and past generations of agriculturists, and the promise of better days through better ways, even as the better things we now enjoy have come to us from the struggles of former years. I had to learn that in 1982.
It made my heart feel really good.
It's why we all, whether it's 4-H, FFA, Boys and Girls Clubs, Boys and Girl Scouts, it really does not matter. What the future that you have or the future that you build will be those people that have impacted your life. My impact of my life was an agriculture education teacher, Dr. Larry Watson from Marion County, still my hero to this day. He impacted my life. He set my life and my future to where it was going to be. I was going to be a Marine. I was going into Marines as a freshman in high school. And by the time the second semester of my freshman year, there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to be in agriculture the rest of my life. So the future, to me, sometimes we don't know that as young people. We definitely don't know that in middle school. I'm always amazed when they ask them, pick your career. What? Seriously? I mean, come on. I didn't come here until I was 36 years old. Come on, pick your career. I didn't even know this career was available to me. Sometimes you don't know that. Mm-hmm. So you've got to take the future and say, okay, it's what I'm going to make it, number one, as a young person. And number two, as adults, we've got to take and direct young people sometimes to help them figure out that if it's what they want to be. You don't have to be. I mean, you may not like agriculture. I don't want to wake up every morning, go out to the barn, feed an animal and smell. That's how you feel. But there's some of us that come to work and okay, our boots are a little dirtier than maybe they should be because we stopped by the barn. But I think future is in you. It's in the person. You got to decide what you want to do in life. I mean, I've had an amazing life. I have an amazing wife. I have an amazing family, friends, students I've worked with. You know, I couldn't ask for any more. So I think your future is you. You got to decide that.
Wow. I can't tell you how thankful I am that you have done this interview with me today. You've given my viewers a ton of life advice and a ton of things to listen to. So thank you so much for taking the time to share your story with me today.
No problem. Thank you, Elizabeth. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, guys, that ends our Farmer Friday video for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, remember to thank a farmer.